Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to What She Says Sports. All right. So I just finished watching the Baltimore Ravens and the Indianapolis Colts. So I started watching it late. Uh Watchman hit up the comments when I was out and about. I was shopping and I got the message that LaJohntay had scored a 87-yard touchdown reception that turned into, it was a touchdown. So I was like, okay. We have to talk about LaJohntay. So before I left to go shopping, I posted that LaJohntay was playing tonight. Glad everybody was tuning in. I was so proud of the Colorado media team because Colorado posted all of the buffs. They're keeping track of the pro buffs. It's excellent, not just for the university, it's excellent for recruiting. So they put together a montage of the players. I was already working on a montage of the players as I go. And it's good to see that CU is highlighting the players. And I'm sure they have the guys from last year on there. They might have some other buffs on there from before when Coach Prime was there. I didn't have a chance to really take a good look at it, but I was just proud of the fact that they were keeping up with the pro buffs. So tonight was LaJohntay's night. We have a calendar that we looked at previously. I updated it to add the game for Green Bay that Will Shepherd is playing in. Because remember, he was with Tampa, and we already had Tampa with Shiloh, but now he's with Green Bay. So I updated the first week preseason schedule. We'll take a look at that. So I just wanted to say congratulations to LaJohntay Wester. This is actually his girlfriend. I've been following them since CU and was in progress. One of the first segments of my podcast episodes called Babe, which is where love, sports, and relationships intersect. And they are the subject of the first episode. So when I posted today, I was like, people are gonna be like, who is this? I'm like, this is his girlfriend. So she has her own social media. I gotta go check it out. She had dropped videos of getting ready for the first game, training camp, Jania's gallery. So this is her. This is Jania. And I'd already had the photos. So I just used it from today. But go check out the vlog that she's a vlogger. Go, check out the vlog that she dropped about her and LaJohntay getting ready for today's game, what preseason looks like, etc. She's really, really good. Jania's gallery. All right. So I just wanted to y'all see what y'all got going on in the comments. LaJohntay Wester, if you don't know, just joining us, 87-yard touchdowns. It was a punt return. He was turned. And he had actually had some other good plays. He had a damn good night. And the announcers were like, okay, well, Baltimore has a punt returner. And, they talked about the 6th-round draft pick. He went to CU, how, Coach Prime was his coach, and how he has a different coach now with different coaching styles. So he's going from Coach Prime type of coaching style to Harbaugh. So they love him. All the guys were gathering around him. He was doing his little dance that he used to do at CU. So it's just really nice seeing the guys. It's just really nice seeing them. We're following them from CU to the NFL. And I just love it. So tonight was LaJohntay's night. So just in case you don't know, LaJohntay turned up. He was already second on the depth chart. I was like, how is this man a 6th-round pick and he's second on the depth chart? He's going to be their punt returner. He's a slot receiver for them. He's just going to ball out. If you watched him high step it and get to that end zone, that's the first of many. That's the first of many. He is skilled at getting down. Y'all know LaJohntay is an end zone magnet. So Baltimore don't know. They know a little bit tonight. He was already the star of their training camp. So he was already second string star of the training camp. Balled out, turned up, scored a touchdown tonight, had a fantastic night in addition to his touchdown. And he on the roster. He in there. He is definitely in there. So shout out to LaJohntay. And stay tuned for my segment called Bay about he and his boo, Jania. They started dating at FAU. So they went from FAU to CU together to the NFL. I told y'all there were other couples at Colorado, and this was one of the other couples. You just didn't see much about them. But you're going to see them in the NFL because, the social media is going and everybody loves LaJohntay. And he's a Raven now. He made it. When they get to the 53-man roster at the end of August, He is on it. He was already second on the depth chart, and he balled out tonight. He is a Raven officially. We don't even have to wait for the roster to come out. He sealed the deal tonight for sure. All right. So congratulations, LaJohntay. I hope y'all have a wonderful night. Post game. I'm sure I'll be looking for the video from Jania's gallery about them celebrating his NFL debut. So y'all stay tuned for that as well. All right, let's go over here to the schedule. Let's get over here to the schedule. All right, so week 1, preseason. So we're gonna try to keep this up every week. Some of y'all that have been riding with us for a minute kind of know we had this and we updated it, right? So tonight was the Ravens versus the Colts. That's LaJohntay. Tonight was his night. Now, y'all know what time it is tomorrow. Y'all know what time it is tomorrow. Y'all know it is Jimmy Horn Jr. and Shedeur Sanders is a reunion tomorrow night. So tonight was a success. I think tomorrow will be a success. I know Jimmy Horn Jr. is going to play. We know Shedeur is starting for Cleveland. Everybody's excited. When he make his first completed pass, people just gonna go crazy. This young man's journey, y'all know we've been tracking it, and we got foot on necks. And I want people to understand something. We are very capable of celebrating and being excited and looking forward to the game. We're not gonna be deterred. We're looking forward to the game, and I can walk and chew gum at the same time. So I am capable of celebrating, anticipating, looking forward for success and celebration for Shedeur. I don't even know who I want to win because Jimmy, played for Carolina, but since Shedeur the quarterback, I guess I kind of want him to win. I want him to win anyway, right? So I'm fully capable of celebrating this young man's trajectory and journey and keeping my foot on people's necks who want to play in his face and act like it's not happening. So we can do two things at once. We celebrating going into tomorrow. And I'm still keeping foot on necks, and I'm not the only one. Today, ESPN called out again. Stephen A. Mr. ESPN, Stephen A. Smith said it, point blank, period. They're setting him up to fail. When talking about Shedeur, they're setting him up to fail. That's facts. And what people don't understand is, and again, I know people don't take a deep dive like I do or like we do, right? I know people don't. So I give people the benefit of the doubt. But I do expect people to understand what has been happening with Shedeur being devalued started at CU. I want people to understand that this didn't just happen only to Shedeur. But since we're focused on Shedeur as part of a pro buff from CU, it's not new. I said it earlier today. I said the Heisman committee used Dylan to block Shedeur from the Heisman stage. Shedeur was also a Heisman candidate, but he was blocked from the stage. When they started going into all of the Heisman talent, Shedeur had already been what? The first overall pick. Going into October, in October, he was the first overall pick. So as we got hot and heavy, going into November, December for sure, going into the Heisman stage, Colorado had two guys. And Dylan was somebody, been in school for 6 years, didn't win no Johnny Unitas type Golden Arm Award, and he just propped up on the stage, which blocked Shedeur. And it's happening again in the NFL. Dylan is being used by Cleveland to block Shedeur, to be a wedge. Dylan is a wedge between Shedeur getting to QB2. Where you get drafted matters. They say it doesn't. For Shedeur, it does. Because they're selectively using the round he was drafted in to try to say he's no better than a developmental QB. That's absurd. He's still listed as a first-round projected QB. And today, Dan Orlovsky, after Stephen A., who's his boss, unless he quit there, said they are setting Shedeur up to fail. Dan Orlovsky was one of the people who wanted to dissuade people away from that narrative, saying, stop with the narrative. It's false. Dan Orlovsky was a 5th-round pick. He actually played as a quarterback, as a 5th-round pick in the preseason game, but he was never a first-round projected pick. See, that's where people keep getting lost. They keep overlooking that Shedeur was a first-round projected player pushed to 5. He didn't start out late projected like Tom Brady. He didn't start out late like Dan Orlovsky. He didn't start out late like Dylan Gabriel. He was number 1 overall in college. People started meddling, trying to make sure he don't come in at number 16, which is the Titans. The Titans interviewed Shedeur several times. They were interested in him from the Shrine Bowl too. But chances are Shedeur wasn't going to go first overall. So we can talk about what's going down tomorrow. We can be excited about it, but we're going to be realistic about it. So let's talk about the game plan. Okay, so today they didn't put out any footage. It was discussed yesterday on the Browns side. On the Browns side, yesterday, they didn't even let their own beat writers get video. So they were starting to restrict access while the Panthers were putting out everything, all sorts of kind of footage. The Panthers even put Shedeur in their highlight reel. They dropped an initial highlight reel late last night. Nobody else was in it. In the first clip, which was about maybe 20 seconds, nobody was in it other than the Panthers and Shedeur. I was like, do y'all have an opening? I was like, do y'all have an opening? So today, after practice, yesterday, people started talking about the Browns limiting Shedeur to the ground because of the plays that they ran, because Huntley had more reps than Shedeur. They had a very conservative practice. The game plan is expected to be a heavy ground attack, a heavy run game. So they're essentially, based on yesterday's plays, there were 10 plays, 10 passes overall, not for Shedeur, for all 5 quarterbacks. I don't even know how many it is. I think 4 quarterbacks practice or 5 quarterbacks practice yesterday. Huntley, Flacco, Gabriel, Shedeur, is that 5? And Pickett, that's 5. 10 passes in total, split up across 5 quarterbacks. That's 2 passes per quarterback, and everything was all run. So what does that tell you? That means you're going to see Shedeur probably pass the ball 2, maybe 3 times, but they want him to hand off the ball to the running back. That is continuing to hold him back. It's funny how they didn't want to put him out there. So then he's out here. He makes it from QB4 to QB1 overnight, but he's grounded. Just like Steve McNair was grounded by Jeff Fisher. He's grounded. That's what they do to suppress the quarterback. They don't let them pass. He clearly not going to run with it. So he's going to hand it off, and they're probably going to have a 2 running back set. So people are starting to realize when they say Shedeur is being set up to fail, they're beginning to realize what they mean. What's meant by that is the fact that he didn't get first-team reps. Tyler Huntley came in a day ago, got more first-team reps or more reps than Shedeur, period. He wasn't prepared for this moment. He wasn't prepared to lead. Everybody else is hurt. Oops, we're going to put you out here. And when we put you out here, you're happy to be on the stage, but we're going to ground you. So why put him out here? You say you didn't have no other quarterbacks. So you trying to get Tyler Huntley ready to play in front of Shedeur. Tyler Huntley is supposed to be temporary. Imagine you work at a job and they bring in a temp and give them more responsibility than you. That make you feel like you're about to be fired. Well, why would you, if I've been here all this time, why would the person that come in after me have more responsibility than me and they here for 2 weeks? That means you don't value me. Cleveland continuously sends the message that they don't value Shedeur. I don't like that, because trade him. Story came out today. I didn't have time to dive into it. Feel free to put what you know in the chat. that apparently there was a trade request for Dillon draft night or somewhere after the draft. Cleveland said no. I said, well, what I find interesting is nobody want to trade for Shedeur. I'm not shocked that Cleveland didn't say no, because Cleveland is using Dillon as a wedge to hold back Shedeur. And if they trade Dillon, since they are giving Tyler Huntley more reps, they're going to use him too. And the excuse is going to be, well, he was with us last year. They're already setting it up. He was with you last year, but you cut him before the first game check. He was with you in the offseason, March. He went to OTAs. He went to practice. I'm assuming he was at mandatory camp because he was a veteran. But you cut him before the first game check. You want to talk about he was a Pro Bowl player. You didn't give a damn. When you got him, you still cut him before the game check. But they trying to build Huntley up over Shedeur because they know Dillon not going to get no better. See, they tried it. When they had Dillon out there failing miserably, oh, I know they got some calls. All they were doing was tanking his draft stock. People have asked about Dillon. They's like, Stefanski said, yeah, we want to be careful with him. He failed. They gave him all of those reps, expecting him to get better while holding Shedeur back. In what world do you think, if you don't give Shedeur reps, that he not going to get no better on his own? He's a motivated, independent leader. He don't need you to make him better. You didn't make him who he is. So they tried it with trying to get Dillon better. See, when Pickett got hurt, they were supposed to divide up Pickett's reps and hopefully give some more to Shedeur, because the reason they said, he don't have a lot of reps, well, the quarterback room is overcrowded. It's funny how Tyler Huntley came in and he got more reps than Shedeur. If you don't have plans for Shedeur, then trade him. I want to see you do it, because you can't. You didn't draft him, so you can't trade him. Calls for Dillon, but no calls for Shedeur, even though he's the best. See, one thing you're not going to do, you're not going to tell the fans, you're not going to tell people with common sense that's paying attention to this, whether they like football or not, that Shedeur is not good. We see he's good. We see you tried to get Dillon ready to be better than him, and it failed miserably. You played Dillon. You played Dillon and made him look bad by trying to force him to be a QB1 that you knew Shedeur was. So who you really playing with? So, yeah, you're being careful with him, because I'm sure his agent had something to say about throwing him out here to get ready for QB1 when you drafted him as a third string. You had no plans for Dillon in your future. You knew when you drafted Dillon, after you were interested in Shedeur, you knew that Dillon was not better than Shedeur. You didn't trade Shedeur. You didn't trade Dillon, because if Dillon ain't on that roster, Shedeur going to be QB2 over Pickett, and you know it. So I'm sure they're being careful with Dillon. Careful so his legal team don't sue them under the table. You drafted him as a QB3. It's your problem that you think Shedeur is a QB4 or developmental QB. He's obviously not. So to set Dillon up to fail like that and think you're going to get away with it, hell no, they got their coattails pulled. I want to see Dillon play against Philadelphia. I think they trying to get Huntley ready to play against Philadelphia. That's somebody else's face they're playing with. Oh, you temporary. So why are you giving me more reps than Shedeur? So the game plan is to be conservative. Remember, Shedeur is likely going to play one half. They only practice 2 passing attempts to the quarterbacks. I don't have any idea as to why, if Dillon was hurt and Pickett was hurt, why were they getting reps? So they don't have to give them to Shedeur. They didn't divide the reps after Pickett got hurt. Shedeur didn't get but one more rep. Now, with everybody else hurt, they decided to bring everybody else to practice, even though they're not playing. And Tyler Huntley got more reps. That's why Stephen A. said they're setting Shedeur up to fail. Louis Riddick said it. They didn't prepare Shedeur for this task. They didn't give him no first team reps. Now they want to put him out here in this game tomorrow and expect him to be a hero. He probably going to be that anyway. He's probably going to be that anyway. But the point is, they haven't developed him. They haven't developed him. They didn't want to play him. And then in addition to lack of reps in Cleveland and lack of reps in Carolina and Huntley getting more reps than Shedeur, they said Shedeur is probably the only quarterback going out here with the 2s, the 3s, and the 4s. Every other NFL team that sends their 1s out there, like Carolina, sending the QB out there with the 1s. Another way he's being set up to fail. So, yeah, I'm excited about tomorrow's game. I'm also realistic that they're using what they call a conservative game plan to ground Shedeur. So you made it to QB1. Okay, we don't have to let you throw the ball, but maybe once or twice. Now, remember, this is supposed to be an audition. It's an audition for Dylan, but he can't play. It's going to be an audition for Tyler Huntley. I pray it works out for him. It will be an audition for Shedeur. Again, it feels Nebraska-ish to me. If we're going to go with sabotage, then it's Nebraska 2024, and that means Jerry Jones is going to be watching. That's what, that's what they're saying, right? Jerry Jones going to be watching. You have never heard Cleveland say anything about somebody being interested in Shedeur. All you've seen Cleveland do is pretend that they don't know who Shedeur is. And because they drafted him late, after they were going to pay him $46 million at pick 2 overall, that because he was still there in the 5th round, like they don't know he was there because their owner and everybody else took him off the board, that they got him for cheap, but they pissed off about it because he's not that good. You're not going to convince anybody, including a jury, that you didn't know Shedeur was the number 2 overall pick because you publicly pre-draft with him extensively. You came for him at number 2 after he was projected to be number 1 overall. So we can do 2 things at once. I'm excited that Shedeur has the stage. I'm excited he gets to make his NFL debut. I know how much this means to him. But I don't think I'm the only person. I think he also knows that they're setting him up to fail. And for people that say, oh, his family is not saying anything, I suggest you go follow Bucky. He wasn't happy when the owner came out and said he wasn't my pick. We didn't ask you any of that. And suddenly today it was announced that the Haslam Sports Group has a new president. I wonder why. Not a surprise. After putting his foot in his mouth and causing all of this chaos with people saying Cleveland has been inept. They don't know what they're doing. They're sabotaging Shedeur's career, and they're setting him up to fail. The only people speaking against that are the people that are content with Shedeur being devalued. The people that also attacked him as part of the media during the pre-draft process. The same people that scapegoated Coach Prime. Who do you think wrote these articles that said Coach Prime was going to be in the way? And people push back. Why can't his father be a part of his life if Archie Manning can be a part of his 2 sons' life and his grandson's life? The people that are saying it's a conspiracy theory are the people that are okay with the racism. The people that are saying, like Dan Orlovsky, pushing back on the narrative, are the same people who said Mike Tomlin is advised to draft Shedeur Sanders and make him QB2 behind Aaron Rodgers. Dan Orlovsky was the same person who was shocked that Justin Fields got the heck out of Pittsburgh because he wanted Justin Fields to be QB2 behind Aaron Rodgers before Shedeur came into the conversation. There are so many people that are okay with what's happening to Shedeur, but there are a lot of people that are surprising the media, local media. We not with this. We not with it at all. So yeah, we excited. I'm happy he's on the stage. I know based on practice yesterday, and they didn't let you see it today for a reason. They restricted practice yesterday on the Brown side for a reason, because they don't want people holding them accountable for having Shedeur to practice and just hand off the ball to a running back. Some people say they hope he called a damn audible and running for a touchdown. I said, that's what Lamar Jackson need to do if he want to win the Super Bowl. Call an audible. People saying this is his opportunity. Make the most of it. As if they don't know that he don't call his own plays. As if they don't know that it was documented yesterday and posted publicly. Each of the practice sessions with each of the quarterbacks. And there were only 10 passing reps. 2 each per quarterback, including Shedeur. So, yep, I'm happy. But I also see, like Stephen A., they setting him up to fail. Yes, it's a wonderful opportunity, but he can only do what they allow unless he going to break rank and call a damn audible. He's not calling his own plays. Yes, they're still trying to hold him back. Yes, they're trying to sabotage his career. They give you the impression they don't want nobody to see him because they don't want nobody to come for him for a trade. I'm like, that ain't going to happen anyway. If Shedeur get traded, it ain't going to be but to 1 or 2 teams. Whoever got the power to stand up to their buddies that are the owners and say, look, we tired of this. We finna go head on and get him. He's $4 million, but he worth 50. So y'all be mad. And you ain't stopping nothing no way. Because Russell Wilson and the guy in New Orleans, Spencer Rattler, have elevated to QB1. So hating on Shedeur is futile because all they're trying to do at this point is convince you that he's not a good quarterback, to convince you he's a developmental quarterback, to convince you and justify what they did to him in the draft, which was to devalue him, severely devalue him. So for all of the people that say he needs to sit for a year, they don't know anything about football. For any of the reporters you coming out saying, no, that's not the narrative. No, this is exactly the narrative. They are holding him back. I want you to pay attention to who's trying to put the genie back in the bottle. I want you to pay attention to exactly who is okay with it. And I want you to pay attention to who has the courage, like Louis Riddick and Stephen A. and Shady McCoy and James, who set up there on the facility before they got canceled. They lied to us about Shedeur. That was the facility. They took them off the air. Now let me see you take Stephen A. off the air. You ain't going to do that. You're not going to do that. And the rest of them not going to touch it. They're going to try to refute what they're saying. I'm like, Darren Orlovsky must be looking for a new job. For his boss to come out, if he still worked for ESPN, and his boss to come out and say they're holding Shedeur back and he's using examples and facts. For Louis Riddick to come out and say they're going to try to set Shedeur up to fail and put him out there unprepared and expect him to be a hero with facts. How dare he? Oh, it's not true. Unless they're playing good cop and bad cop, Orlovsky is part of the problem. I think a lot of these players who were truly drafted in the 5th round, drafted late, are jealous. I think they are jealous. This young man, not only was he coming out of college #1 overall, he's going to be the face of the league, period. Which is why they want to suppress him, why they didn't want him in the game in the first place, which is why they're going to do a run game and let him pass it just a few times, unless somebody forced them into doing it the right way. If Cleveland don't want Shedeur, don't value Shedeur, how about you trade Shedeur? But if you think you're going to release him and say you can't find a suitable trade partner, you're going to get ready for a fight, boo. And the only reason you can't find a trade partner for Shedeur Sanders is because y'all still colluding. And if that's what we're going to do, then let's keep going with it. And the voices are going to get louder. The voices of correction, the voices of accountability are going to get louder. Everybody's going to be watching that game tomorrow. We know Shedeur going to ball out. People going to watch to see just how Cleveland try to hold him back again on the field in front of millions. So we can celebrate. Look forward to it. I'm happy he on the biggest stage, but they on that BS. They on that BS. So I'm going to check on y'all and see what y'all saying in the comments. When Shedeur first got drafted, all you heard was, Tom Brady got drafted late. I'm like, Tom Brady wasn't no first round prospect. Dan Orlovsky, I'm like, you were not a first round projected prospect. This young man was going number 1 overall. And then Cleveland want him at number 2. As late as CU's Pro Day, dinner after CU's Pro Day. And suddenly he was too expensive. You knew how much the number 2 pick was going to make after the last draft, because there are incremental increases every year, about $2 million. So you knew when you were chasing him down, when you were making everybody believe you were going to draft him from all the way from CU scouting for 2 whole years. After he was number 1 overall in October, here come Cleveland at the Shrine Bowl, asking Shedeur not to play. Oh, he too expensive. You do not get to lure somebody and make them believe you're going to draft them. Make other teams believe you're going to draft him. Say he's going to be your franchise QB. I don't give a damn if you change your mind. You have every right to change your mind. But since he ended up on your team, you better act like you know who the hell he is. The franchise QB you wanted at $46 million. Because you're not going to convince anybody, including a jury, that he went from the first overall pick to a 5th round pick from January to April with no damn football. See, that's the problem in Cleveland. They don't want to talk about, yeah, we were going to make him our number 2 pick. They want to act like they met him when he was drafted 144. You get the hell out of here. They asked Bryce Young, do you have any advice for Shedeur? It is amazing to me. They asked everybody about Shedeur. You know what Bryce Young said? Oh, he doesn't need any advice from me. He has plenty of success of his own. I was like, thank you, Bryce. Thank you. Just like Myles Garrett. The rest of them need to have the courage to speak up if they are a leader of a team. They asking everybody about Shedeur. Why they keep asking? Because they hoping that they trash him and they'll find somebody to co-sign they BS-ery. It ain't happening, bro. You're not going to convince nobody Shedeur wasn't talented and experienced and the best QB, the most NFL-ready QB coming out of college. And that's what they trying to do. They trying to justify holding Shedeur back by saying he not good, like we don't have eyes and we can't see. They keep asking these other players because they want the other players to echo their sentiment. The genie is out the bottle and it ain't going back in. One thing about it, you're not going to tell karma what to do. All these bottom feeder teams that keep ending up at the bottom and drafting all of this talent have one thing in common when it comes to black quarterbacks. They don't want them. They don't want to win with them. They're happy to bench them, make them QB 2, 3, or 4, underpay them, but they don't want them to shine. They don't want them to have the influence. They don't want them to be the face of their franchises. They should be forced to sell. I said it today. I sent out a survey. Based on what you know, do you think Haslam should be forced to sell? 95% of the people said yes. Not a coincidence they got a new president of their sports group right now. People saying, the same people that thought that Haslam wanted Shedeur are the same people that believe, oh, he using Shedeur to get to the new stadium. Bro, he don't even want Shedeur to lead the team to win. He don't feel like he need him to win. You really think he feel like he need him to get a stadium? If so, he would be wearing the number 2. This shows you they trying to suppress Shedeur. They wouldn't even let him have the number 2. Gave him Travis's number, trying to humiliate him. Bro, we fed up with that. We fed up with that. Foot on necks. We going to be happy tomorrow, but we going to keep our foot on your neck and hold you accountable. You keep playing in his face. Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Yes, LaJohntay turned up. Hey, everybody. Congratulations to LaJohntay Wester, an outstanding performance tonight. Yes, he did. I know he had 87 yards, but I know he had other performances in addition to that. Hey, Gracie, how you doing? Hey, Alma, thank you, Lord, for blessing him with the wherewithal to get it done. Facts. Good evening. Hey, Reverend Nelson, how you doing? Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Hey, Peter, how you doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. Yep, Night Owls activated. What's good? What's good? Hey, Gail, how you doing? Thank you for joining us tonight. It said Tatum set a tone for them NFL buffs. Facts. That is excellent recruiting for CU, but it is also a reminder they undervalued every last one of them buffs. Jimmy been balling out in practice. He gonna ball out in the game. If they let him play, he gonna ball out in the game. We know he the poster child, but he's talented also. So you see a lot of Jimmy anyway, and he's already scored 2 touchdowns in like their fun fest. So I expect Jimmy to turn up tomorrow. It looks like they'll be playing with their ones at some point. The Panthers will. But again, if you haven't seen it, the Panthers had Shedeur in their highlight reel. I just hope they have an opening for a quarterback. A great night for Coach Prime. Tomorrow will be even better. Right. Everybody going to be watching. I watched tonight. I think a lot of people watched tonight. Hey, Chris, how you doing? Huffing and puffing like a dragon. LaJohntay showed out. He did. When he started kicking up them legs and high stepping, I was like, oh, my God. He going to be damn good in this league. He is. And then I remember, I'm like, they devalue every last one of these buffs. But it's all right. It's all right. Guy going to get their money back. It's going to be all right. LaJohntay, when I saw LaJohntay was second string before tonight, he was second string after the second week of what, OTAs, a training camp or mandatory. He been second string for a minute. And they said the guy that's in front of him, DeAndre Hopkins, remember he played for the Texans with Deshaun Watson. I think he's only on a 1-year contract, 1 or 2 years. And they say he get injured a lot. So we might see LaJohntay. And it's called lightning in a bottle to draft somebody as talented and productive as LaJohntay with the 6th round money. But then you giving me your 6th round money, but you giving me first string results. You giving me first round results. That's called lightning in a bottle. That has happened to every buff, every last one of them. Hey, fam, how you doing? How you doing? Hit the like button for me. It's over 100 of us. Hit the like button. Queen LaJohntay is lit. Yes, I watched the game. There was 17 minutes of highlights. If y'all want to see them, they out there on NFL Post or something like that. So it's actually pretty good. It said Wester definitely set the tone. Shedeur and Jimmy next. Yep. Yes, we just solidified his spot. Yep, he did. He is on the roster. He is on the roster. I guess he on there as a punt returner, second string, but he a slot receiver. So I think we'll be seeing him with some catches. He's so fast, but we know LaJohntay was an end zone magnet. I'm happy for him. LaJohntay is making that roster. Hell, he made the roster tonight. He definitely gonna be on there. Peter say he subscribed to Jania's channel. Okay, so just in case y'all don't know, Jania's Gallery, that is LaJohntay's girlfriend. They were together at FAU, together at CU, one of the couples that I followed. Now they're with the Ravens. She's a vlogger. She drops great content. It's always her and LaJohntay. She had this one video where they came to Atlanta and Jimmy was there. Jimmy Horn Jr., they all came to Atlanta to work out together. And it was hot, and I felt so sorry for her because she was talking about how hot it was, and it was hot. It's starting to cool off. This is where Atlanta starts to get into fall. But when they were here, it was very hot. So go watch her videos, Jania's Gallery. She's a really good vlogger, and it's always her and LaJohntay. I love them. The reason why I chose them for my inaugural or my first Bay segment, right? Bay, is because I love how they love on each other, right? I might as well just go on to say it. I love how they love on each other, right? I love how at CU they were in a relationship, but they had boundaries. You know, they weren't everywhere, and they still together from FAU to CU to the NFL. They are always together. And I was watching, and you know, now he's working out. You know, it's different from CU, right? He had to get ready for the NFL, but then now he's training. He's in training camp. You know, when they had the little break, the summer break off, these two were traveling, doing different things. They always together. And I love how the chemistry between them. I love how they treat each other. There was this one part where she was getting dressed to go somewhere, and he was supposed to be bringing breakfast, and he didn't bring it yet. And she was calling him, and it was funny because he wasn't answering. It was funny. I was like, oh Lord. I was like, okay. And then he had picked up the phone, and then, you know, when he go work out, he want her to go too. So she always there, and she works out too. So I absolutely love their relationship. Jania's Gallery, Jania and LaJohntay, the first couple that'll be on my Bay segment where love and sports meet up. All right. So, all right, back to what we talking about. So put the schedule back up here so everybody can know, you know, what we have going on here. It says, so don't forget, we know what's tomorrow. It's a lot of games on Friday, though. It seems like everybody else is Friday, but we'll get to that when we get past tomorrow. We'll be live tomorrow. We'll be watching the game tomorrow. So I hope y'all be around because I'm not missing this for anything. It said prime coaching style helped Wester a lot. He was so prepared for the NFL that put him ahead of the other rookies. I believe it. Did y'all see how good Shiloh? We're going to talk about Shiloh when we get to the Bucks on Friday or Saturday. Did y'all see Shiloh this week? Man. Well, y'all know Shiloh is now 4th on the roster, right? His friend Buckify popped up. Remember the guy he ran into at the subway? Well, there's video of it. Buckify, remember when we saw that, right? When we saw Buckify at the subway, we were all saying, I hope he show up at training camp. Well, he showed up. He was dressed in his cape, his royal looking cape, because he was supposed to be, you know, some type of VIP, I think like fan of the year or something like that. So he had on all his regalia and whatnot. And Shiloh saw him and went crazy. And he was like, it's Buckify. Buckify, they let him come from behind the stands where everybody was. And they let him come out there. And he was talking about Shiloh, you know, this, that, and the other. And, you know, hyping Shiloh up. I was like, this is beautiful. He had just made the 4th spot on the roster. But Shiloh's good. Shiloh should actually be 3rd. He was out there in a 1v1. He had dude locked down. Looking like his dad, no cap. Shiloh looks good. He's really gotten better at his craft. He had this guy locked down. Of course, it was a pass breakup. And if y'all haven't watched the footage, go watch it. We might put it together for when they play their game. So Buckify was out there, y'all. Go check it out. Go check it out. Go check it out. I have Will Shepard on the schedule because we're going to try to see what's going on with him. Again, it's 3 games on Saturday. 3 games. I think Travis Hunter plays, and he's playing on both sides of the ball. Don't forget Cameron Steele McCraig. Don't forget BJ Green are also Jacksonville Jaguars. So let's see who we have here. We have the Bucks and the Titans. Aren't they joint practice? Yeah, that's their first preseason game. So just in case y'all don't know, Cam Ward, Titans, right? Cam Ward got into a scuffle with the Bucks. And they asked him about it, and he must have threw the ball at somebody with a red jersey on. I guess he tried to knock him out with the ball, and everybody just started laughing. And somebody pointed out, they said Cam Ward is exactly who they thought Shedeur was. Shedeur is actually quieter than y'all know who Cam is. So it's Cam Ward versus Shiloh this weekend. It's on the schedule. Then it's Travis Hunter versus Aaron Rodgers. That's going to be interesting. Travis Hunter is expected to play on both sides of the ball for this game. I think Will Howard is hurt, so I guess Aaron Rodgers is going to play quarterback. That's a surprise to me if Aaron Rodgers get out there, because Flacco don't want to get out there. So I'm thinking it's gonna be somebody else. And then the Jets versus the Packers. I'm invested. I'm invested because yes, it's Will Shepherd. He wear number 82. That's my birthday. And it's versus the Jets. Justin Fields, Tyrod Taylor. Don't know who gonna be out there, but I'm a fan of their head coach, Aaron Glenn, who was the defensive coordinator for the Lions. So I'm invested in that game. So that's coming up Saturday, but y'all know what time it is. Bengals versus Panthers tomorrow. So Wester balled out. Everybody's proud of him. I'm proud to see you. Coach Prime should be proud, right? Because his players are turning up. That's so good for recruiting. They like, damn, I'm going to Colorado. Right. Because if you good, it does not matter. It should not matter where you get drafted. But the point is, it does. It affects your career earnings. If you start out with 11 million and then your next contract is 50 million, then that's 60, right? But if you start out with 4 and I'm out here bringing you to the Super Bowl, well, damn it. If I don't have no incentives, then if my next contract is 50, I'm 54. I'm missing some money. So it does matter where you get drafted. And for black quarterbacks, it definitely matters. It definitely matters. Salute. How you doing? Oh, guess what came in today? I didn't open it yet. Guess what came in today? I was surprised. I got a notification from Shop that the hoodie y'all brought me, the people that got the well-off 144 hoodie for me, I got a notification it was going to be here yesterday. Why it show up today? At 7 p.m., I got a notification from Well-Off Forever that your package has been delivered. I ran out of here. I ran out of here trying to get it. So I got it, and I was supposed to open it for tonight, but I was out shopping, so I didn't have time to get back. And I'm wearing it tomorrow. And don't forget, the book is out. If y'all have Spotify, Turf Wars, the book written by the NFL Players Association past executive director, Damaris Smith, something like that, is out. If you have Spotify and you have premium, you can listen to it for free on there. Freeman said he was buying his book. I'm buying the book because people sent me money to buy it. So I'm going to buy the book. It's available in hardback, but you can get it on audio. But if you have Spotify, you can listen to it for free. And I'm looking for nuggets that to present on to here. So pretend this is like a book club. And we're going to kind of like talk about what's in there. I hope it has some good tea. I hope it's full of tea. Otherwise, I don't know what we're doing here. So I'll let y'all know. So the birthday gifts have arrived. Thank y'all so much. We'll be sharing them tomorrow. Let's see. Yaba say, congratulations, LaJohntay. Yup, his stock went up tonight for sure. His stock definitely went up. It said, that's how you show up and show out. It said, Coach Prime got all his guys ready. Right. Now, imagine if tomorrow, this game that everybody's excited to see, Shedeur versus Jimmy, imagine if it was just like on the up and up, right? We know who Shedeur is. We know who Jimmy is. I would expect if it was on the up and up, Jimmy to end up with about 2 touchdowns because he already has 2 touchdowns from their fan fest. And y'all know Shedeur is lights out. People were predicting Shedeur was going to throw for 400 yards and have 3 touchdowns. I was like, okay. Sometimes I just let people have their thoughts. I ain't trying to hurt nobody's feelings. But when they posted the play-by-play of practice and they talked about, they intentionally put it out there. They're running a conservative game. They want to protect the ball. They're going to hand off the ball. And it's limited passing. And Shedeur is supposed to be the first half. So I'm watching anyway, but they're going to be on that BS. So they just don't get your feelings hurt. I don't want y'all looking at the game upset tomorrow. Just go be excited for Shedeur that he got on this platform. Hopefully, you know, they win and he can get all the credit and go somewhere else. Because that's all I care about. That's all I care about. It said Jaguars game going to be popping too. Heck yeah. Oh, I think a lot of people want to see Jaguars versus, a lot of people want to see Travis Hunter. A lot of people want to see Travis Hunter. He's playing on both sides of the ball. And then there's Aaron Rodgers. For the people that still believe in him, but the Steelers fans don't. They feel like he was forced on them, and I would think that they are correct. Yeah, it's going down tomorrow night. Let's go Pro Buffs. Facts, Chris. What's up, everybody? The 704. Drop your area code if you're feeling excited. You want to tell us where you at, where you from. Tomorrow gonna be a big day. Facts. It's giving draft night part 2. I like it. I like it. I like it. Draft night part 2. Okay. Yeah, we do. We get to celebrate the guys in action. I like that. Thank you, CJ. I like that. I like that. That's great. It said Panthers better win because unlike the Browns fans, we can easily not show up. We know we can easily not show up to one of the regular home games. This is not an issue. It's not. It's not. Remember, they had 45-cent tickets for the Carolina Panthers not too long ago. James, what year was that? And that stadium was damn near empty. That's what needed to happen in Cleveland. But, hey, hope springs eternal. It ain't going to happen. It said, I agree. Stephen A., he told the truth. Yeah, Stephen A. said it. I was like, oh, I like this. I like this version of ESPN. I love this version of ESPN. And you know why it's good? Because the facility was telling it, and they took them off the air. You ain't taking ESPN, and you ain't taking Stephen A. off the air at all. And Louis Riddick is the perfect addition because he be letting it fly. He be letting it fly. And again, they winning over people with their stance. Normally, that's not the case. People felt like Stephen A. was hating on Coach Prime. I'm like, that might be true, but he did give Coach Prime that platform Super Bowl weekend, and they had over 1 million views on that episode where they was sitting on Bourbon Street in the French Quarter. And remember, they let Coach Prime come up there, and he had the little almonds and stuff, and he was talking about Shedeur. Stephen A. gave Coach Prime a platform to speak against how people were saying Shedeur had a weak arm, limited mobility. He didn't use his legs. He was just a pocket passer. He said, Coach Prime said Shedeur's escapability is underrated, very underrated. He's excellent. Shedeur's ability to escape out the pocket has already happened in Cleveland. There's a little clip of Carolina practice day 1 yesterday. I don't know where this came from. I think I saved it. Maybe I'll share it on game night while they on commercials or something. Shedeur was in the pocket, snapped the ball, and this big guy in the Carolina blue was outplaying the lineman, which could be a 4-string dude for Cleveland. Shedeur got the hell out of there. Shedeur did that little jug and ran and got the hell out of there. That man ran for his life for 2 years, and he gonna be fine running for his life in Cleveland. So that's not gonna be a problem. The lack of reps is not a problem. Escapability in Cleveland is not a problem. I'm not surprised if the O-line get beat. The way the Browns move, hell, I expect it. What the problem is them putting handcuffs on him and grounding him and make him primarily play a ground game. That's what, and fans are showing up to see this. You think you would cater to the fans, right? Okay, so you weren't going to draft him, even though that's a lie, but so you weren't going to draft him, but you have him now. You knew who he was then. He's the same person now. What did Shedeur say in his interview when they were in Cleveland the last day? The guy asked him about his expectations for playing in a preseason game, how he was going to feel, and Shedeur said, I'm the same. He said, did you see any of my games at CU? He said, I'm the same quarterback. He's the same quarterback. He's the same exact quarterback as when they pre-draft with him from 2 years at CU all the way up to dinner after CU Pro Day in April. He's the same number 1 overall QB. He's the same most NFL-ready QB, most accurate QB, best QB coming out of college. He's the same guy. Treat him like it. That's what we as fans, we want them to stop playing around like they don't know who he is, because we're going to expose them for the liars that they are. Just because you don't want to talk about the fact that you pre-draft with him doesn't mean it didn't happen. And I don't know why you don't think we know. One thing about it, when I said the Browns owner should be forced to sell, you know what I thought first thing this morning? I said, Donald Sterling lost his NBA team because of audio of being racist, right? I'm like, well, we have video of racism against Shedeur Sanders by the Browns. So I think video trumps audio. So that's why I think Haslam needs to be forced to sell. I don't think it's a coincidence they have a new president of the sports group. I think, trying to convince people that what they're seeing is okay makes people like me and others look into everything that you've been doing before Shedeur got there. Why you had Tyrod Taylor on your roster? Why you let Deshaun Kaiser go 0-15? Why you had RG3 on your roster? Why Deshaun Watson got $230 million fully guaranteed and you barely play him and he stayed hurt in Cleveland, but he was not even hurt more than once with the Texans? Why is it you get a star in Dallas when your team don't even have $1 billion profit? Because you were the one to take all those aforementioned players after they were abused elsewhere. And this is your reward. There's no way a sorry franchise that has been inept for decades with consistent poor performance gets a star like in Dallas who has a $10 billion valuation and a legacy of winning. You only get that if you did a solid for somebody. And it looked like a lot of quarterbacks were sent there for their careers to die. And giving Deshaun Watson a $230 million contract, fully guaranteed when nobody else could get it, after 24 cases of misconduct settled, is doing a solid. So keep playing with Shedeur, and the truth gonna keep coming out. Because now we gonna pass Shedeur. Let's look at everything. You've been inept for a long time. Let's look at everything. Shedeur is an all-time most accurate QB in college football history, and they still hating. Right, and they intentionally trying to hold him back. Dan ran the ball out his own end zone. Who? Who you talking? Oh, you talking about Dan Orlovsky? He ran the ball out of his own end zone. What? I was watching a video with Shedeur and Jimmy shaking hands. It was said that someone overheard the Panthers coach saying they wish Shedeur was on their roster. I believe it, because the way they got Shedeur in their highlight reel, I said, where's the rest of it? Because if this is the only highlight reel, they interested in Shedeur. He was the only one in it. The short clip that I saw that was released immediately. The Panthers, they own that social media. I think they like, hey, I'm going to tell you something about the Panthers. Making Jimmy their poster child, is them like, yeah, he might be a 6th round pick, but we finna capitalize. But if you want Shedeur, what you want to capitalize off of. You had a 6th round pick mic'd up. Why? Because you know his relationship. Shedeur even said it. I talked to the other buffs in the league. They knew. And when Shedeur made that beeline over there, he didn't know. But Jimmy did. And I love Jimmy for backing up away. Like, hey, I'm mic'd up. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I would love for them to be on the same team. But that would mean they have to pit Shedeur, who's QB1 ready, against Bryce Young, who deserves his unmeddled with QB1 opportunity. Bryce Young is a dog. They did him dirty too. So I was proud of Bryce Young's response when they asked him about Shedeur, do you have any advice for him? He said he don't need no advice from me. He has plenty of success of his own. He knows how to get there. I was like, yes, I need more of that. Jerry Jeudy. Barely any reps with the ones. These devils standing in the way on purpose, right? They also said no matter the outcome, he not playing in the next game against Cincinnati. They don't want him to play against Joe Burrows, but if he did, he might beat him. I don't know. They said, Stephen A. said there needs to be an investigation into the Cincinnati Bengals coaching. I said, can you put Stefanski on there? Yesterday, I put a prayer on Twitter. I said, dear Lord, I said, could you please expedite the firing of head coach Kevin Stefanski from the Cleveland Browns? Please. Kind of like what you did when they fired that coach from New Orleans mid-season. I would be so grateful. Amen. I'm dead serious. They hated that coach so much in New Orleans. They fired him mid-season and put him on a damn Mardi Gras float. I have video of it. I was like, is that the head coach? They did a paper mache Dennis Allen on a float, understanding under a pit of fire. That's how the Browns fan base. That's how they need to be. But they fan base, yeah, we talked about it yesterday. Is different. It's that I just think they're setting him up for something, but I don't know that he will fail. Well, here's the thing. If all he can do is pass off the ball, they don't want him to win, number one. They're trying to restrict his ability. They want to highlight the other players. It's the same reason why he's not wearing the 2. They're trying to stifle him. They don't want him to get out there and be the star he is because they want people to believe he's not that good. Now, if he went out there and it didn't go well, they're going to talk about it incessantly to the end of the moon. They just would. That's what they're going to do. But if he ball out, no, they want to hinder him and pass off the ball so you could talk about somebody else on the team. That's why Myles Garrett is the face on their social media. They don't want Shedeur, who's a quarterback, to be the face of the team. They don't want the most important position on the team. They don't want Shedeur to have that because then he becomes the conversation. They don't want to give him anything other than what he has. They want to suppress the celebrity. They want to suppress his skill set so they can justify what they did to him in the draft. This should tell you that when you say the NFL colluded, Cleveland was in on it. They were not the beneficiaries of drafting Shedeur. Shedeur was not on the board. You cannot draft a player that's not available. Cleveland set Shedeur up in the draft. I'm going to run it back and say it starting with pre-draft. And it's documentation to prove it. Prove me wrong. This is why Horn was mic'd up by this is why he was mic'd up by the Panthers. They talk about Jimmy Horn more than they talk about Ted. I'm like, and I said to somebody, I'm like, that's just crazy, right? And they're like, it's not a big deal because, Jimmy Horn make millions. I'm like, hello, yes, it is. 11 million is better than 4. 18 million is better than 4. A shoe deal came with that. I'm happy for Ted, but Jimmy should have also been drafted where he should have been drafted. He was the top 10 wide receiver in the draft. And you see, LaJohntay, all of the buffs are good. All of them. It said, bring up Tony Grossi talking about his sore arm dragging him down. I guess we'll look at it during the game because I didn't see it. I got a lot of email to go through. I appreciate everybody. Give me a minute to catch up to it. But I didn't see it. So I can talk about it tomorrow. But thank you for that, Isaiah. A docu-series. Okay, James. It says, I just hope Shedeur doesn't get hurt. Shedeur not going to get hurt by that O-line. He was prepared for this. Think Nebraska. And I want y'all to know the Nebraska game was in September of 2024, right? The one that was miserable. We won the first one in 23. And 24, number 9 was also on the team, so we shouldn't have lost that game like that. And remember, at the end, Shedeur was bringing them back, but, games end, time ran out. So, after that game in September, it was October against Cincinnati, somewhere around the Cincinnati game in 2024. Shedeur was the number 1 overall pick after the Nebraska game. Let that sink in. It says Stefanski. Yeah, he's not truthful at all. And I think arrogance is going to be his downfall because he don't know when to quit. But he's also taking marching orders from the one that came out and stuck his foot in his mouth. Believe me on that one. They talking about Dylan is Stefanski's pick. No, he's not. He's the owner's pick. They don't have that kind of power. It says Shedeur threw 2 touchdowns in practice against the Panthers. Was that today, Jerry? Because I didn't get to see anything today. Normally they put out like all the reps and Joe Flacco snaps the ball, passes it off to this one or throws it to that one. I didn't see any of that today unless it came late. Like I said, I had to go. So it said when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Cleveland leadership are full of bull junk. Facts. So I'm not scared for Shedeur. I'm not worried about the sacks. He already showed me in Cleveland he know how to get out of there. What I don't like is they trying everything to suppress him. Just leave him alone. Let him ball out. That's what the fans want to see. They more worried about cutting off their nose to spite their face, which is why they could have had Travis and Shedeur. But it was so important for them to hurt Shedeur because they had reeled him in. It was so important to exact their little plot to humiliate him that they traded away Travis when they could have had both of them. If I didn't want Travis, I didn't want Shedeur. And that seems to be obvious right now, right? Okay. They want somebody next year. Good luck with that. I know that if somebody coming out of college next year that's in the top 5 and they're like, Lord Jesus, don't send me there. Please don't. It didn't work out for Baker Mayfield either. So I'm just going to put that out there. Coach Prime has prepared him for every scenario going on. I believe that. I agree. I agree. Yeah, I'm not scared. I just don't like them stifling him and restricting him and setting him up to fail. And even though we got to put you out here against they didn't want to draft him. They was pissed off. Now they pissed off he get to play. I don't like all that. Just get the hell out the way. If they would get out of his way, they would be a winning franchise, but they don't want that. Not with him. And that's your problem. If you're willing to go to hell and back to prevent drafting a black quarterback in the first round, and he fall into your laps in the 5th round for $4 million, which is a $36 million discount, and you still want to harm him, end his career, hold him back, pretend you don't know who he is, lie on him, and sabotage his career, you should be forced to sell your team. That is organizational malpractice. The genie is out the bottle and it's not going back in. I got here late, was watching replays of Tay's full PR. Yeah, he was good. Nobody is calling to get Dylan. Sorry, I don't believe that. I think Jerry sent me that article. Jerry, is that facts? I didn't have time to look at it. It said, yes, that is correct. They tried, or there was a trade request, and Shedeur is developing himself. Right. All of that working out with his QB coach going all the way back to Jackson State was not in vain. Just got here watching LaJohntay's highlights. Nephew bald. Hey, chat. Hey, how you doing? It say, come on in the kitchen, wash your hands, and get some of this New Orleans gumbo. Sis is cooking. Show some love. Hit the like button. Yes, everybody just take a minute. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. 186 of us. Hit the like button. So while we all looking forward to tomorrow, if you're just now joining us, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be live tomorrow doing a game. We're excited for Shedeur to take the stage. This is something he's been wanting to do his whole life. He deserves it. He deserves it, right? So, we're going to be happy and celebrate, but believe me, foot will be on next. So accountability is necessary. This has been going on for far too long. Let's see. So thank you, Isaiah, for that. Y'all hit the like button. It says, since they didn't prepare him, they won't be able to take credit for his stellar performance. Facts. Thank you, Bridget. Thank you. It said, let him go now. They are trying to resurrect the narrative. He's a 5th rounder. Therefore, he should not expect to play with the ones. Shedeur has no problem with the Browns because if he did, he would say so. No. And while you have people in Cleveland starting to call out, he's done everything he's supposed to, this, that, and the other. I'm like, that's not new, right? Shedeur has done nothing to the Browns. They just want to say, we don't want him. Then trade him. I want to see you do it. I want to see you do it. The fact that nobody's calling for him, the fact that they're not trying to trade him, which means they're trying to humiliate him. Let that sink in. I know you're going to outplay your draft stock. You're going to outproduce your draft stock. That means you're not a 5th round pick. We pre-draft with you extensively at number 2. I know what you're capable of. And I'm going to hold you back anyway. So I can end your career. You don't make it to the front of the line. We're going to put this yoke of a 5th round developmental QB around your neck, and it's going to follow you from team to team to team. Because we want to humiliate you. If you don't want somebody, then don't draft them. You ain't have to draft him. You didn't have to invite him to the combine. Because per Mel Kiper Jr., NFL does not want quarterbacks like Shedeur Sanders now. Then you shouldn't have drafted him. You shouldn't have invited him. But now that you done drafted him, you think you're going to kick him every day. To hell no. See, they've been doing this for so long. They think they could do it to Shedeur and get away with it. No. No, boo. You not finna kick Shedeur every day and think people going to be silent. The good old days is gone. That's why they restricted access to the practice yesterday. That's probably why we didn't see nothing today like we did yesterday. In the words of Miss Sealy in the color purple, until you do right by Shedeur, everything they do is about to fail. Facts. God don't like ugly. The collusion stuff is ugly, right? And and people who don't want people, they don't want other people to talk about it. They don't want fans to talk about it. How you gonna tell us what to talk about? We run this. The media don't run nothing. The media is a parrot of whatever the NFL wants. Fans run this. Carolina fans showed you who run this. You're not going to tell us what we're looking at is not what we're looking at, because this is what you used to doing behind closed doors. If Donald Sterling was forced to tell his team because of audio, there's enough video that Haslam should be forced to sell his team. And for people who want to continue on, what do you take pleasure in when it comes to watching football and this team be tragic for decades? Out of the 5 QBs that practice, only 2 available, including the one they signed 2 days ago. Facts. That's crazy. People don't even believe the other ones are hurt. They just think that they protecting Dylan so he don't get out there and look bad because he's not ready. Dylan is not ready. Not only is he not ready, how the hell is he going to get ready? Is he going to grow any taller? It shows you, just like when Bo Nix came out of Oregon, he struggled too. Shedeur ain't struggling. It goes to show you what Coach Prime said. A lot of these quarterbacks that balled out in college, who they expecting to go first next year, they expecting to go second, they want to go third, they swear it's a better class than this one. I'm sorry, it don't get no better than Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, and Jalen Milroe. And put Quinn Ewers in there. They said this class was trash because the first 3 quarterbacks to come out in the draft in the first round, between the first and second round to pick 40 in the second round, were all black. The disdain they have for black quarterbacks is why you see what you're seeing with Shedeur. They know he's a winner and they trying to stop it. And the crazy part is they trying to hurt him in the process. You can't trust people like that. So we're going to be watching the game, ready to put foot on necks. No passing plays for Shedeur. That's what I heard. If so, it's going to be very limited, but we still going to show up. And, he looked like he was having fun. He was with Njoku. They was on like a little something in the locker room, a TikTok or something. And he looked, he looked good. We're not worried about his mental. That's intact. He good. We're not worried about him being sacked like that. He know how to get out of there. I saw him do it already in a Cleveland uniform. Carolina players are better because they're the ones, I guess, than the 4s. It is actually negligence to have Carolina's 1s playing against Cleveland 4s. They just don't want him to ball out with the 1s because, again, the genie will be out of the bottle. But it's already out. It's already out. That's why they don't want him out there with the 1s. They don't want to see Shedeur throw a pass to Jerry Jeudy. I'm trying to figure out who the hell they trying to convince Shedeur not good. Must be their fan base. They must not want their fan base to see what everybody else knows. That Shedeur going to connect with any receiver that got hands and want to hold on to the ball. That's how Luke Floria, and it ain't lost on me. They sound like they done took Luke Floria off of Shedeur's team that he be balling out with after he helped develop this guy and put him on the first team. So they don't even want him to connect with a touchdown with Luke Floria like he does in practice every day. These are the links they are going to stop him in this game. So we're gonna wait for the unexpected to show up. If I'm Tyler, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm new to this, and yeah, I want to ball out, but I'm not finna let you do this. I can't play. He got to play the whole game. That's what I would do. I'd be like, you know what? Yeah, I can't just go. And nobody else can play, right? Y'all say can't nobody else play. Oh, okay. I can't play either. So Shedeur got to play the whole game. That's what I would do. I'm not saying that's what he need to do because this is his job. He just got there. But that's what I would do. And if they gonna cut you anyway, you might as well do it. What did I say? If you damned if you do, and you damned if you don't, you might as well do what's right. If you gonna go get me and bring me over here to block him, they tried it with Dylan. Now they using Huntley. I'm like, I'm not gonna be a part of this. Hey, Miss Clara, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? It's the Panthers got the Jaguars, Cardinals, and Tampa Bay first 3 games of the season. Oh, you know what? I didn't put Zay Weaver on the calendar. Do we still have somebody in Miami? I forgot his name, McClendon, Derek McClendon. Do we still have him? I guess I need to put them on that's a lot of games. We're just gonna be watching a lot of football. They're just now lying about outside interest. They're just now lying about outside interest in Dylan. Everything they do is being exposed. Oh, that wasn't true? That wasn't true? Their perpetual hatred is real. Yeah, it is. And it's not to be taken lightly. When people are desperate, they do desperate things. I'm not worried about the sex. I'm not worried about the reps. I'm not even worried about them holding him back. I'm worried about how desperate they're going to get. Ashton Jeanty has 3 carries for -1 yards. What? How is that even possible? Ashton Jeanty has 3 carries for -1 yards. That's crazy. Sorry. No Tampa. We got Atlanta Falcons. Oh, not Tampa. We got the Atlanta Falcons. Ashton Jeanty has -1 yards after 3 carries. Jeez. VC, hit the like button. Yes, thank you. If they hold Shedeur back with the running game, they hold back the wide receivers, and that won't go over well with them. It's the 4s and the 3s. They might not even make the team. I think they said somebody named Davis dropped a pass or something like that. But again, I saw no evidence of it. So his family saying something won't change anything. Right. Prime knows the game, right. And I don't know why people think how they don't see that. I don't know how you don't see that. It said we ran Orlovsky out of Detroit when he was our QB. Right. And he not fit to tell. He don't even have no credibility. And I noticed it's all of these guys. None of them were first. It's funny. I don't hear first round draft picks saying nothing negative about Shedeur. Bryce Young was, hey, I don't need to give him no advice. Myles Garrett, great things about Shedeur. That's what the rest of these players need to do because they're going to keep asking them about Shedeur, which is crazy. Why they asking the black players about Shedeur? You don't want to ask the white players? You don't want to pull the white players into this scenario. You don't want to make them look what? Keith says Shedeur will be fine. If Shedeur wants to be legendary, he must navigate through the mental games. Cleveland not playing. I mean, yeah, that's facts, but I think, he can't call his own plays. I think what we're talking about today is the game plan. We're talking about how, that's why I said, we're not worried about his mental. I'm not worried about him getting sacked. I'm really not. If he can run out of there in a Cleveland uniform, I mean, he got a lot of experience, a lot. I think he was the second most sacked player in FBS. But he still was the best player in FBS, the most accurate player. With all of that, that's not a person you hold back. That's a person you let it fly. They're going to be legendary regardless. And AI has something to say about who the future NFL MVPs are. Let me see if I can share this. Now, y'all know I said white quarterbacks are becoming the minority. That's what all of this hatred is about to black starting quarterbacks in this draft. It's always existed. The disdain for black quarterbacks has always existed going back to 1920, 1960s, early 2000s. Hell, Lamar Jackson, CJ Stroud. I could just go on. Bryce Young, everybody, right? It's all of them, right? So, we live in a digital society. AI is the new thought leader when people start looking for research. When you look for research, they can't come up with the research, but they can take statistical analysis, something that the draft is supposed to be based on when ranking talent. They can take that and use it to predict based on the future and patterns of behavior based on historical data that who the future MVPs are going to be. Let's see if I can show it because you're going to love this. I was like, oh, the NFL might be ready to fire AI after this. So why y'all wait for me to put this together? Let me know who you think some of the future NFL MVPs will be, quarterback or otherwise, while I put this out here because it's good. Drop in the comments who you think some of the future NFL MVPs will be based on however you decide you want to come up with it. It could be your favorite. All right, it must be over here. Let's see. Oh, here it is right here. I don't know why they say Coach Prime. So I might not be looking at the right thing. Oh no, that was Coach Prime. I'm telling you, when I tell you I have screenshots for weeks, I have screenshots for weeks. This is important. Let me find it. I wasn't gonna share it, but I'm gonna share it now. I'm just gonna find it. Hold on one second. If I don't find it, I'll just share it tomorrow. But it's really good. I was like, they gonna fire AI now. See, the NFL since its inception has controlled everything. They've controlled what they tell people. They control what we see. They control who disseminates the information. I think this is it right here. They do. They control all of it. But within the modern era, you can't control that type. You can't control communication like that, right? That's why they restricted. That's why they restricted access to practice. Here it is right here. NFL MVPs predicted by AI. All right, let me take this off the screen. Let's have a look, shall we? All right, in 2025, Pat Mahomes. 2026, CJ Stroud. 2027, Caleb Williams. 2028, Marvin Harrison Jr. 2029, Shedeur Sanders. And look who he's playing for. Minnesota. 2030, Arch Manning. 2031, Trevor Lawrence, because he got Travis. I'm sorry, that's it. 2032, Malachi Nelson. 2033, Dylan Raiola. Dylan Raiola. That's with the Falcons. And then we got 2034, Nico. Anybody notice anything when it comes to the quarterbacks? Anybody notice anything? Pat Mahomes, CJ Stroud, Caleb Williams, Shedeur Sanders, Nico Lavalama. Don't know what Malachi Nelson does, but let's just throw him in here. Did you notice anything? All but two. All but two. This is an AI model, and I know they use some kind of stats because AI can't think unless you feed it something. This Shedeur is on this list with a different team, which means he got to get out of Cleveland to be great. All but two. And you want to throw Marvin Harrison in there? All but two. That's where we headed. That's what they don't want. This is exactly what they don't want. This is where we're going to get regardless. So trying to hurt Shedeur, trying to stop Shedeur in the draft was futile because in preseason, he made it from QB4 to QB1. They didn't want that. So much so they didn't even talk to Shedeur about playing in the game the day before they left. They had already reached out to Tyler Huntley. This way they headed regardless. Look at how far they've gotten since 1920. And in 1920, they banned black quarterbacks. And look at where we are now. We pretty much the same place. With Matt Stafford being hurt, they scared to death Shedeur gonna have to go there. They scared to death somebody gonna say out loud, send Shedeur there. People are doing projections and what it looks like with Shedeur going to the Rams. The Browns getting ready to play the Rams. Let's see who they play in that game. So there are people who don't even want to have the conversation about Shedeur playing with the Rams behind Matt Stafford at QB2. And why do you think that is? Matt Stafford has some kind of back injury. He can't even be available, I guess, to get ready for the season. You see how all these quarterbacks are just dropping like flies? They scared to death to put Shedeur in that conversation, a widespread conversation. This should be an audition for him. But I will tell you this. I don't care what nobody say. Jerry Jones going to be watching. I'm not saying that's the ideal place because the way they do business is not right. But it's better than Cleveland. Anywhere but Cleveland. So I hope y'all had a chance to see this. I'm going to have to take it off the screen. Shedeur has a future. He going to be successful regardless. Yep, Salafi said 2029. It said the subliminal team is the Minnesota Vikings. That is absolutely it. How many times have you heard me say J.J. McCarthy needs somebody up there? They're not going to push Shedeur up there. For the same reason they're not going to push Shedeur behind J.J. McCarthy or Josh Allen, they're not going to push Shedeur behind Matt Stafford. You saw the future. They live and die and breathe by AI to do the thinking based on statistical models, which is fine because it's just numbers. It's just numbers and patterns. I love AI. I have no problem with it. But in this case, if the numbers are accurate, which they likely are because they just take it from all over the internet, you see the future. It explains why the draft was so ugly. It explains why they concocted this whole plot going back to the Vegas Super Bowl, bringing in Charles Woodson. Where is he, by the way? Imagine them coming to you, asking you if you're still interested after they denied you. And they rush you through and pigeonhole you to Cleveland. They pigeonhole Shedeur Sanders to Cleveland the same way they pigeonholed Charles Woodson. Do you see Charles Woodson anywhere? So what did you go get him for if we're not going to ever see him? Trevor will only be 33 in 6 years. Lord have mercy. Trevor going to look good because of Travis. All they talk about right now in Jacksonville is Travis. They have Arch Manning in front of a Cowboys logo. It could happen. It could happen. It could happen. It's the people that keep thinking Arch Manning is going to Cleveland for me. I'm like, no. It ain't happening. I'm like, that stadium not even done till 2029. That ain't happening, bro. So yeah, they have Arch Manning in front of a Dallas Cowboys logo. It would not surprise me. They're all black except for two. Nick Chubb got traded to the Rams from the Texans. Geez, no, don't say that. It's that same. I find AI intriguing. Right. Cameron, thank you for becoming a member. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Elaine and Cameron are two members. Y'all welcome them. They're in the chat, or at least Cameron is. If Elaine is here, let's welcome our new members. Don't forget, tomorrow, 6 p.m., an hour before kickoff of Browns Panthers Shedeur Jimmy reunion. We go live as members, and then we'll go live to the public at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So Cameron, welcome, welcome. We know you'll love it here. Look for the member inside scoops. I've been dropping them every day. Y'all make sure y'all go to the members only section and look at all the tea I've been dropping. 2030. Oh, okay. Oh, you said 2040. It said wasted 4 years of Shedeur career. Right. And that's what they want to do. So yeah. You see, he gotta get out of there to be great. You see, he wasn't an MVP, which he could be. With the Bengals. I guess only one CU player can get the shine this year. Travis. See, they trying to control a lot. They trying to control so much. That's why they failing. You're not an octopus. You out here trying to have octopus tentacles, trying to control Shedeur, black quarterbacks, Coach Prime, Travis Hunter. You're trying to control too much. That's why it's failing miserably. This is the modern era. The tactics they used in the 20s and in the 60s and the early 2000s no longer apply. They don't work. It said he will never go to Cleveland. Yeah, I don't see him going to Cleveland either. They need to release Shedeur. Yep, I totally agree, Dedra. I think they need to release him, but they're not going to do it. So he just going to have to elevate right there in their face. What does it say? The scripture, God will go before you, make the crooked places straight, and prepare a table before your enemies. That's two scriptures. I will go before you and prepare a table before your enemies, a feast before your enemies. So that's what's going to happen if he's still in Cleveland. And we're going to be right here to talk about it. I'm just saying, I can walk and chew gum. I can celebrate and I can put my foot on your neck at the same time. So, that's what it is. So, guys, it was great. We have our faves making it to the league. We have our pro buffs. I'm proud to see you for following it because they don't have to, right? These guys can lead the university and they don't never talk about it, but it's too many. All it should do is wide receivers are in the league. Hell, I'm going to give him credit for Luke Floria, right? So Shedeur's going to be fine. His mental toughness is in check. He has too much experience running for his life to get caught behind somebody unless they block him from running out the pocket. But he already did it in a Cleveland uniform. I think it's negligent to have Shedeur and the fours out there, the twos, threes, or fours out there against Carolina Panthers ones. That's how desperate they are to hold Shedeur back. They don't care who get hurt. They don't care how poor you look as a player against their ones. I'm talking about their O-linemen. They don't care about those guys. They will use and expend and use anybody to hurt Shedeur. And that just like they hurt Dylan. Yeah, they have to be careful with him. I'm sure his agent has something to say about it. So we're going to get out of here, everybody. Thank y'all so much. We'll be back tomorrow in the presence of his enemies. Thank you. We'll be back tomorrow during the day. Just turn your notifications on. It's game day. So I'll be back. We've already talked about the game plan. So we kind of know what to expect. We'll probably just check in and see if we learn anything new. And then we'll be back at 6 for the members only podcast. Then we'll be back at 7 for the game. I'll probably drop some videos and shorts in between time, some of the stuff that y'all saw here. So turn your notifications on. It's going to be fun tomorrow. And I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. See y'all tomorrow. Bye, everybody. 156 of us. Please let there be 156 likes and subscribe. And we're on Patreon. If you're new to Patreon, look for us, follow us. We're just getting started over there. Don't know what it's going to look like. But if you're on Patreon, just go ahead and follow us so we can build a community over there as well. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.